You're live.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Office Hours, Saturday Cook Along. Today, we're cooking along with Damayanti Gajjar, and she's in her kitchen in Cape Town, South Africa. Today, we're going to be making another essential spice mixture out of her book, Conscious Cuisine. And then we're going to be taking that spice mixture and putting it in some potatoes, which is aloo. And then we're going to be tasting those potatoes. So hopefully you're cooking along from home. And if not, don't forget to ask questions. You can ask questions and Damayanti will answer those questions. So Damayanti, why don't you start us out with telling us a little bit about the spice mixture that we're going to be making, and then tell us a little bit about the dish.
Thanks, Shannon. Thanks for the lovely introduction. We did try spice mix 2 weeks ago. So we're slowly going through the different essential spice mixes. And I think it's quite important to learn to make these because they are so handy and they can make your dishes so tasty. So today we're doing Dhana Jeera, which stands for coriander and cumin. So it's a mixture of coriander and cumin. And once you've learned to make Dhana Jeera, I can assure you, you will be putting it in almost all your dals and vegetable dishes that you prepare. The nice thing about the Dhana Jeera is that it's got a very aromatic taste. There isn't a strong pungency. So it's ideal for people who are not used to eating spicy food. And very, very child-friendly. You could add it to dishes where you're serving young people. I just wanted to ask people to preheat their oven to 100 degrees. I have a small little oven and I don't usually need to preheat, but I think you need to. So Shannon, a quick question, does your oven take long to preheat?
It does take a while, so I should have had it going, but I'll turn it up. I'll turn it up higher so it heats.
Yes.
I haven't gotten my new toaster oven yet, so
okay. I think if you feel the oven is going to take too long, for those of us cooking along, if you feel your oven is going to take too long, you can easily take the spices, the cumin and the coriander, and dry toast it in a pan, in a wide pan if you want to. Yes, a wider pan.
I think I'll do that. That's usually how I do it, but
okay.
I'm going to try next time toasting it in the oven. Is there an advantage or disadvantage by doing it in the oven as opposed to doing it on the stovetop in a pan?
The only I feel the only advantage of doing it in the oven is then you're free to do other things.
Okay.
Whereas if you have it on the stove, you need to keep an eye on it. The other nice thing about doing it on a stovetop is that you can get the smell, the aromatic smell quite easily. And by warming the spice, the coriander and the cumin, it releases its aromatic oils, and that's what gives it that beautiful nutty fragrance. So we've got 250 grams of coriander. Whole coriander.
I don't have any of my spices pre-measured yet, so I'm going to measure everything out as we're doing this, if that's okay.
Sure. And although coriander and cumin are used regularly in Indian cuisine, I think that it's used also in a lot of Mexican food. So I know in South Africa, the coriander is used quite a lot in something called biltong, and I think it's called jerky in the United States. So
yes, it's called jerky, but it's not the same. The biltong is much better than jerky.
Okay.
Jerky is kind of it's never as good in the United States as biltong is. Even the biltong in the United States is better than the jerky in the United States. It's just a much better seasoning.
Oh, okay. And I don't know too much about jerky nor biltong,
right.
But I know that it's used extensively in that product.
And since it's only 2 ingredients, and I don't have as many, I don't have as much coriander as you have. is it just a ratio?
Yes, yes.
And it's equal amounts?
It's not equal. It's
Not equal.
250 grams of coriander
Okay.
and 60 grams. So it's a quarter
Okay.
cumin to coriander. So you can reduce it quite easily. It's not an issue.
Okay,
And
great.
I think you will notice that in a lot of recipes, they add other spices, but I actually just like the purity of the two spices.
Okay.
If you want to add other spices, we are going to be making garam masala next week, then you could easily add those spices to the dana jeera and you'll get all those other spices.
Okay.
They have a hotter flavor. This is more aromatic and easier to on the palate.
Okay.
So Shannon, you've got your, and Alex, you got your coriander?
I'm just putting it in right now. Yep.
You've got it on your baking sheet.
On a bake. Oh, I'm baking it. Sorry. I
Well,
had that wrong.
Alex, I don't know if you heard, but
Alex.
you don't have to bake it. You can also use
I'm
a
putting.
pan.
I'm heating up a pan. I heard that part.
Okay, so shall we do it in a pan? Let me get my pan on as well. Then we won't do it in the oven.
It's
It
okay.
may
I
be-
mean, I think it's okay. It's up to you, but I think it's fine if you do yours in the oven and we do ours in the pan, if you're already set for that. If not, I'm happy to have you switch. I know you have a
No,
lot
let's-
more.
Yeah, I don't have to have the same quantity. I'll just halve it and I'll do it in the pan because it will save us some time.
Okay.
So if we're all doing it on this, on the stove top, we need to use a medium heat, not a very high heat.
Okay. Yeah, I was very excited that I had all the ingredients, but I didn't check my quantities. I thought I had plenty, but clearly not
Yeah.
nearly
Yeah.
as much.
We can wing it because so long as you have a quarter cumin to coriander, that's absolutely fine. So I'm going to put in this little bowl of whole coriander seeds.
Okay.
And then approximately a quarter of cumin seeds in that mixture.
And it seems
And I
like
think-
it does make sense to make them in bigger quantities because then you can just store it, like you said, in a big jar, take little amounts to use often. But it sounds like this is such a basic spice mixture that we'll go through it pretty quickly.
And in meat and fish dishes, it's delicious. I mean, I am a vegetarian, but I know for a fact that it's used quite extensively in meat, fish, and chicken dishes. So then I've always noticed that with vegetarian dishes, you use less spice because the vegetables are tender, so they absorb spice very easily. Whereas with your meat and chicken and fish, you need a little more spice to flavor.
Good to
You
know.
need, yes. So this is just toasting it. And as soon
Okay.
as you get a fragrance, you will start smelling the coriander and cumin. Then you know it's ready. And when that happens, we'll just switch it off to cool down before we grind it.
And as
Okay.
a note, if you're watching on Zoom here or on you, or if you're in Mukana, you can go ahead and ask questions, and we'll bring those questions up for Damayanti. So feel free to do that.
Yeah, I can definitely
And-
start to smell it.
It's lovely. And coriander is very, very good for digestion. And it's got a slightly sweet and astringent taste, whereas your cumin is very, very good for gut, toning your gut and for gut health, actually. And I think with so many people having gut issues, it's excellent to include cumin in your diet.
Good to know.
And even for if you're experiencing a bit of nausea, cumin is also very good. You toast it and then you grind it and you can chew it like you would fennel seeds or
Oh, okay. Just you
So,
chew the whole,
just
the whole-
dry.
the whole
Yes,
seed. Okay.
just dry toasted.
I don't think I've ever eaten just
It's lovely.
seed.
You can taste it. It's actually quite nice.
Hmm. Wow, it's very different. It tastes like it tastes in a dish, but it's really different just eating it whole.
Yes. Mine is almost there. Can you, Alex and Shannon, can you smell yours? Mine is even smoking.
Mine's not smoking yet, but I can definitely smell it.
Okay, we'll wait a little.
I'm always
No, I'm using-
worried that I'm
use-
going to burn my spices.
Yeah, we don't want
My
to burn it.
toast.
Yeah, working on gas, you have to be careful because it burns so easily.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm gonna, when mine is ready, it's almost ready, I'm gonna put it into a glass bowl because the pot retains heat and it'll continue browning.
Yeah. And my cumin is already so dark. It's hard to tell just by color.
Mm. But if you're getting an aromatic smell,
I am.
You can take it off.
Okay.
The cumin is slightly darker than the coriander, so that in itself will darken more. Alex, are you still making chai?
I am making chai. It's been great. I ran out and I had to make it again. So I've been very successfully making chai. It's fantastic. It's the best chai I've
Oh.
ever had, and I get to
Oh,
make it
babe.
myself, which is amazing.
And Alex,
I
I
was
was
ac-
saying before you got here, since I've been out of town, I haven't been making chai, but I did have some out and it just really wasn't the same.
I know I
all.
will say it has ruined me because
I know.
I actually was at an Indian restaurant the other day, and it was an Indian restaurant, and I ordered chai, and I was like, it's not as good as what we made here.
Yeah.
so I was, it
Mine
was
was
like,
at an
oh,
Indian
you know, it's a
restaurant.
big vat of it and everything else. So there might be a little bit of that, but it wasn't like handcrafting it just right. And I think I really missed the kind of the spiciness of it. Like it's just
Pepper.
I feel like the chai that we made the other couple weeks ago kind of brightens up my mouth. Like I can feel it, you know, in a way that the other chai is just sweet tea. You know, it's not.
I think
it doesn't have-
it's the combination of the ginger and the pepper that does that. You know, it brings
Yeah.
that heat into the chai. So while
Absolutely.
we're waiting for the spices to cool down, we can peel the potatoes for the aloo fry. So we're making aloo fry. Aloo is potatoes in Hindi. And I wanted to keep that term because you often see it in restaurant menus and you see it in recipe books. So I thought let's just keep that term instead of calling it potato fry. So
One
it's
question
to-
I had is, what do you think of using sweet potatoes instead of russet potatoes?
You can use sweet potatoes easily. And what I've done before is combine sweet potato with regular potatoes, also lovely. But there's nothing wrong in using sweet potato. The only issue I've had with sweet potatoes, it slightly sticks to a pan. So you may need a little bit of more of the oil or otherwise use a nonstick pan.
Got it. Okay.
So I'm busy peeling my potatoes. Alex, are you going to use sweet potato today?
I think I'm going to use one of each.
Oh, cool.
I like the idea
And
of mixing and matching.
Yes,
So-
yes, that will be lovely. And Shannon?
I'm just using two russets. They're-
All right.
Again, they're pretty big. So that was,
Yes.
that was all I needed. But I
Yes,
think these are
that'll-
great spices to have with sweet potatoes. It sounds really good. I think I'll try
Mm.
that next time.
And do you know this dana jira is lovely with peas, with green beans, even when cooking beans. Dana jira goes very well. And then there's different ways of using it. So when we do the potatoes today, we're going to marinate the potatoes with it. But sometimes what you can do is actually heat it with the other spices in the oil before adding the vegetables to it. And there's always a slightly different flavor you achieve by doing that.
Now, do you ever leave the skin on?
Yes, you can leave your skin up.
Okay.
Now, you called out for russets, but I guess you can really use any potatoes. I almost picked up some potatoes that the skin was a lot, it was a lot more tender, so I could have used it. But these, again, the skin felt really tough on these russets.
Yeah, we don't, as I said before, our potatoes and yours are quite different.
I always like when I see different potatoes at the market, at the farmer's market. The purple potatoes are always
Yes.
fun. And again, you realize we have such limited in the grocery store. We just, you know, there's certain types of produce and that's it. But there's so much out there.
Yeah. And I think you get a far bigger variety than we do here in South
Oh.
Africa. I think unless you probably go into the farming areas, but in the cities, there's not much choice.
So I just gave my potatoes a little rinse.
Yes, I've put mine in some water.
Oh, okay. Should we put them in
You-
water?
if
Is
you've
that-
rinsed it, it's absolutely fine. You don't need to put it in water.
Okay.
And now we're going to cube it. Alex, are you on the same page as us?
I am.
Okay, so I'm going to cube mine to show you the size so that we all have potatoes cooking similarly. So I would say it's about that size. Is that about 2 centimeters?
Okay.
Okay.
This is one of those dishes that is so handy when you haven't got a lot of other veg and you know you've got potatoes and you can make a quick dish out of something like a simple potato.
Yeah, potatoes, they last so long. I always have potatoes on hand and they're filling.
Yeah, I think, I'm a big Spud fan. I love potatoes.
Alex, any questions? Are there any questions?
We have one question from Andrea Bear. She said, for the aloe fry, I could not find the fresh curry leaves. Is there a substitute? I could not find them either.
Oh, that's a good question.
Shannon found them. Where did you find them, Shannon?
So I was up in Portland and I found them at an Asian market in Portland that my aunt took me to. She buys them there.
There isn't really a substitute, but you could get away with bay leaf.
Oh, bay leaf.
You could
Okay.
use bay leaf, yeah.
The curry leaves are so unique. The smell is so unique.
It is. It's just unbelievable, the flavor.
And one
I'd
thing
never even heard of curry, fresh curry leaves. So that's a new learning for me, is to know that it even existed. So I didn't think of going to an Asian market. I don't know why, but I know where one is in San Rafael. So I'm going to probably go there when I make this again, which is usually what happens. Usually within a week, I've made this, whatever we've learned, a couple of times. And so I'm going to go see if I can find it.
But
And
these
then
were
that's,
I was going to say,
Sorry.
Alex, they were pre-wrapped in a little container just in the fresh produce section. I don't know how they'll be. I know that market. I don't know where they,
You know, that
Where they'll
little
be.
one next to Whole Foods?
yeah, it's been there for forever.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing you can do is look for a plant.
Sorry?
You can look for the plant.
Yes, I have, oh, wait, from our last one, I have a little
Oh,
sprout.
did you do it? Did you,
I
is
have a
it
little
starting?
sprout starting from
Oh,
the
wow.
lemongrass. So I took the bases and I put one in to see if it worked, and then I realized I should put the other one in. So this one's just started, but this one's already starting to
That's
to sprout.
amazing.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
That is amazing.
Alex, is anything happening at the root, or is it just all coming up out of the top?
So far, it's all coming out of the top.
But that's still something. I think just leave it in the water.
That's
I'm going to leave it in the
exciting.
water,
Yeah.
see what happens for a couple
Yeah.
more weeks. We'll see if we get any more out of
Yeah.
it. But you're
Yeah.
right that they're getting. I've been really thinking about it as we try to find some of these things. That I may put a herb, like a little herb box on one side of my house, and just have a bunch of different things that I might want to use and just be growing in there.
The curry leaf plant, they're not that difficult to grow. I've got it growing. In winter, it dies down. It's sad in winter, doesn't like the cold climate.
Mhm.
But come spring, it just all comes back. The leaves start coming back.
And how big
So-
is it? How big does it get?
Do you know, Shannon, mine is in a pot.
Okay.
In my mom's garden, it's a tree. It becomes a tree.
Wow.
Yeah. So if we're all ready with the potatoes cut, we can grind the Dana Jira. I don't know in what kind of coffee grinder you go. I have a special spice grinder, which came with my machine, my Kenwood machine. And what you want to do is you want to make sure that you don't grind it to a powder. You want texture in the Dana Jira, because you want to taste the whole cumin. It'll be crushed. The cumin will be crushed, but you don't want it to be powdered. So I'll show you once I've crushed mine. This is going to make a little bit of noise.
I carefully had to clean my coffee coffee grinder to make sure I didn't end up with it being very caffeinated.
Yeah.
I have a separate one for spices, but I have to remember to dust it out so it doesn't have the essence of the other spice.
Yeah. I just wanted to show you that when you sift it a little, you may have a little bit of the whole shells here, and that may be a bit too big. Is it honed in? Can you see? Are you able to see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That bottom is the texture we're looking for.
Oh, can we get a close up of that? I don't see a close up now. I don't know if there is one there. Yeah. Okay.
Nirali is going to try and come closer. And now,
Okay, so you still have quite, the holes are quite large still, so I think I'm good. Right, you don't, I just
That worked
wanted to make
quite
sure I
well.
didn't grind it too much, but I wanted enough. Actually, I think
I gave
need
it like 2 pulses and that was it.
oh,
Uh,
okay.
I still have some whole ones in here.
Hmm.
I'm going to give mine, I've sifted the bigger shells out, so I'm going to give mine another quick grind.
Another question from Nick Pavlinak in Southeast Michigan. And he said, when roasting the spices, is a thick based frying pan preferred?
Definitely, because in a thin base, you may burn the spices very quickly, whereas you want them to be roasting at a medium pace.
In general, I find that the thickness of the pan is one of the most important things when I'm looking at pans. I'm always looking for thick pans or some kind of thick base because it's more, the heat is more evenly distributed. On a thin pan, it'll get hot fast, but it oftentimes has a hot spot. And if we measure the temperature from the center to the outer area, we see, for Fahrenheit, we might see 150 degree difference at the beginning. Whereas if we start with a low heat and have a thick pan, we can get to a point where there's maybe only 30 or 40 degrees Fahrenheit between the center and the edges. And so I find that thick pans are really important overall.
Yeah, definitely. So have we all got our Dana Jira ready?
Yes.
Just want to wipe my surface.
Oops, sorry, I muted myself so you wouldn't have to hear my coffee grinder. I have a lot of big shells still left.
You can put it back, Shannon.
I can put it back and regrind it.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to do that. I don't want to waste just too much in here.
Are there any questions?
Let's see if there's any more here. Hold on one second. Nope, no more questions right now. I think everyone's just following along. Oh, we got another one immediately here. Ken Jordan, from Surrey, UK, says, I like the idea of growing my own Indian herbs and spices. What types would you suggest that we grow at home?
Well, coriander would be your first one. But if you're living in a country where there's frost, you're going to have a bit of a challenge. So curry leaves also, because you must remember they are tropical or subtropical plants. So they need, they don't do well in extreme temperatures. But if you have an area like a veranda where you can keep them in pots and protect them from the elements, that would work. So fenugreek grows very easily.
Wow.
So you can grow fenugreek, you can grow coriander, you can grow lemongrass, your curry leaf and bay leaf. I would grow all those. Definitely.
Yeah, it'd be nice to grow it because it is a little bit more challenging to find them. You have to go to a specialty market for a lot of those items. Okay, I think I have.
And I mean, with coriander, you need a few seeds, and you get a whole bed of fresh coriander, cilantro.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
Okay, so now we have our cube potato. We're going to add some salt to the cube potato.
And this is just the salt to taste, just.
Yes, salt to taste.
Okay, potatoes salted.
And then some turmeric, about a half a teaspoon of turmeric.
And this is powdered turmeric.
Yes, powdered turmeric. And then the Dana Jira that we've just made, about 2 teaspoons. As you can see, even though we're putting 2 teaspoons, it's absolutely fine because it's got an aromatic taste rather than any strong heat in it. And then if you'd like, you could put, if you like chilies, you could put a little bit of chili flake.
I guess that's where you can adjust your heat with the chili.
Depending on your personal taste.
Okay, and did we add mustard seed?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, good.
No.
Just want to make sure I didn't.
So once we've got the potatoes, the salt, the turmeric, the dana jeera, and a pinch of the chili flakes, we can put our pan on, a nice wide frying pan to do the aloo fry in.
And what do we set the pan at? High or medium?
A medium heat, Shannon.
Okay.
And you can put some oil in your pan, any neutral oil.
And about how much?
I think about a tablespoon or two,
Okay.
depending on the amount of potatoes you have. You want the oil to be hot before you add your mustard seeds or your curry leaves.
Okay.
And what kind of oil do you use as cooking oil?
I'm using sunflower oil.
Sunflower oil.
That's what I'm using. Mhm. My pan feels pretty hot.
Shannon, if it's hot, you can add your mustard seeds.
Okay. And
Just
can
be
you,
careful. Have you got a lid, Shannon?
I do. Because they're going to pop.
You need to hold the lid on one side so that the seeds don't burn you.
Okay. And can you remind us the measurement for the
A
mustard
teaspoon
seed?
of mustard seeds.
Teaspoon. Okay.
Okay, so I think we're all adding our mustard seeds now and wait for them to make that splattering sound. Because that's when it releases its aromatic oils and the health benefits and all that come when it splatters open, when the mustard seed splits open.
We're definitely splattering.
You can add your curry leaf if it's splattering.
Okay.
I said sort of 2 stems full. I've got little ones. As Shannon, yours are big. You can add that whole one stem. Actually, it'll be very
This one, this
nice. Oh.
whole stem.
Yes, yes. Just
Oh.
take it off the stem. Take the leaves off.
Oh
the
my
stem.
goodness. My mustard seeds are splattering.
It's fine. It's fine. Add the. Take it. Yeah, take it off the heat.
They're definitely going. I took them off the heat. That's a lot of curry leaves.
You'll see how lovely it tastes.
Whoa. Okay.
Alex, if you got your, you didn't get curry leaves, so you can just add your potato. So now we're going to mix all the spices either with a spoon or with your hand and add it to the hot oil.
Wow, the potatoes smell so good and they're not even cooking.
Yeah, you can stir the potatoes with a lifter and close the lid. And it needs to be on a medium to low heat rather than medium to high because you want
Okay.
it to cook.
Okay, Alex, you're definitely going to have to find those curry leaves because they smell so good. Now, I've seen them dried before. Can you use them dried?
You know, Shannon, you can. I've seen them dried, but the flavor is nothing like your fresh ones.
Okay.
So what you could do is, if you buy, like you have now, quite a bit of curry leaf,
Yeah.
what you need to do is put it in a container with a roller towel. You don't want moisture to get onto it. So you could put a sheet of roller towel at the bottom, put the curry leaves on it, another layer of roller towel, and close it and keep it in the fridge. It'll keep for about 3 weeks to 4
Oh,
weeks.
wow.
Like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's worth doing that. And your stems are quite big. You could just cut the stem in half
Okay.
so that it fits into a container. Otherwise, you're going to need a very big container.
Yeah. They're really pretty. They do look like bay. They don't smell anything like bay, but they look like a bay leaf.
They're lovely. I can see how nice yours are. Mine are from the garden. Mine are much smaller because they're just beginning to come back after the cold winter.
I instinctively stirred. Is that okay?
Pardon?
I stirred my
Yes.
potatoes. Is that okay?
No problem. No problem.
Okay.
So you were saying you're going to have this for breakfast.
Yes. Well, basically, yeah, kind of breakfast lunch. It's
Like a brunch.
almost 11.
Okay. Okay.
I think I discussed it with you a little bit. Is that I've decided that anything plus in the United States, anything plus eggs is breakfast. So, I took a bit of the lentil cake recipe and I made it into this kind of really nice, almost a little stew, and then added an egg on top of it. Made it breakfast. It was excellent. So,
cool.
yeah.
Cool.
I did an
So
egg
you-
on top of our lentil loaf too, Alex. I took a piece and I used it basically as a base, and then I did a poached egg on top. And I think I may have posted a picture. It was really
Yes,
good.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. And if you think about it, it's a lovely protein because your lentils are good protein. Plus,
Yeah.
you've got your egg. So
Well, and I found that like in the morning, on a typical morning, making the lentil loaf was too much to do. But the way kind of with the way we do it, going into a meeting, I can put it on, let it simmer on the stove with some red lentils and some onions and some garlic and a lot of other bits and pieces, and come back and it's all nice and soft and ready to go. And then it's a really quick breakfast. It's good.
Yeah. And I think if you want to bake it, then you could do it the day before. So in the morning, then you would just slice
Right.
it or cut it and put the egg on it. Yeah. That would work.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But that's my
So
plan
I
with
was
these potatoes, an egg with these potatoes.
I was thinking, Alex, when you said you have flatbread, this and flatbread is such a nice match. It'll just
yeah.
go very well together.
Absolutely.
Mm.
And flatbread, I think, is really interesting that it's so easy to make. I think that a
Yes.
lot of times people have it like, like I just stopped buying flatbread when I realized it would take me 10 minutes to make it. Like I can make flatbread in 10 minutes, or I can buy something that is not nearly as good. And
Yeah.
it's literally flour, water, and a little bit of salt.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I make roti almost every day. I just make about 6 for us for lunch. And yeah, it's so nice. And leftovers, you can always warm up and
Yeah.
have it later as a snack.
Absolutely.
My kids, I mean, they're grown men, but if I'm making roti, they will walk into the kitchen and put some ghee and sugar and have it like a quick snack. It's like a childhood thing they did. But even now in their 40s, they still do it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great snack.
Yeah.
Alex, are there any more questions?
We don't have any more questions right now, but if you have questions and you're watching, go ahead and throw them in there about this meal or about cooking in general, or about the tools. It'd be great. Yeah, absolutely.
So now we just wait for the potatoes to cook.
How long does that take?
It'll take at least 10 minutes.
Sorry, at least how long?
10 to
Okay.
12 minutes.
I think sometimes I've been cutting my potatoes really small, cubing them really small for during breakfast because they cook faster. So I can see if you don't have as much time, you can adjust the size of the potato too and cook it, cut it a little bit smaller. It'll cook a little
Yes.
faster.
Yes. And what I've experienced is that, you're so health conscious, so you don't want to add a lot of oil, but a little bit of extra oil in something like this also makes it cook much quicker.
Now,
It
what
does
about any
definitely.
water?
You could. It will, I think, affect the taste. It would be better if you perhaps put the potatoes once they were cut into boiling water just for a minute and then proceed. That would be better rather than adding the water now.
Okay.
It's not a gate crash. You could, I suppose, add a bit of water. It's not a gate crash. And then I'm not sure if you get fenugreek leaves in the United States, because
them.
you could, towards the end of this cooking time, you could chop up some fenugreek in here. It will be very, very nice.
Mine are dried.
Oh, you could even use that right at the end of your cooking time.
Now, you said
I think
that's
it's-
fennel?
No, fenugreek.
Fenugreek. I don't know if I know what that is.
Maybe Shannon can show. I'll show you.
Yeah, here's my dried. So this was the smallest amount I could get. So I
Yes.
need things to do with them. But they smell really nice, and they're dried, but they're also a little bit I don't know if you can see it, but they're just little
Yeah,
tiny.
They call kasuri methi in the grocery shops. Methi is fenugreek. You know what? It's very nice with Shannon if you stir fried some onion, added that dried fenugreek leaves, and put some beaten up eggs in it.
Put eggs in it.
Yep.
Yeah, that
Seeing that you've got so much.
now my potatoes are getting a little crispy. Is that
That's perfect.
expected?
Perfect.
Okay.
Just have to check that they're cooking through.
Yeah, mine seems
So
still a
that's what mine
little
looks-
stiff, like they need
Yeah.
some more heat.
Mine also isn't yet soft.
I'm going to test one of mine to see. Nope, pretty hard.
Yeah, so let's just leave it on the plate. So often when you go to Indian restaurants and they serve a thali, then there would be rice, there would be dal, there would be a green veg, and then aloo fry with it, and then your rotis or your puris with a bit of pickle. And that's how they would make up the thali.
Now, when you're cooking, when you're using, you said you can put the spice mixture on lots of different vegetables. Would you use the same ratio? You know, we did, I think it was about 500 grams of potatoes, a tablespoon of the spice mixture. You kind of keep that same ratio with all the vegetables. You said meat, you can use a
Yes.
little more, but vegetables keep the same no matter what you're using.
Yes, 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 you would. Because as you'll see when you taste this, it's not hot. It's just aromatic. So you can use that ratio. Because with frozen peas, it's quite nice if you braise a bit of peas. In that case, you could say you braise your onion, sorry. You add a bit of the dana jeera mixture in there, then add your frozen peas. You could cube a little potato in there and just cook it through
Oh, that sounds
with
so
some
good.
salt and turmeric, and then you will have a peas curry, fresh pea curry. If you feel your potatoes are sticking, Shannon, you could add a little oil.
Okay.
And Alex, yours, is it sticking?
Mine are still cooking along.
But not sticking to the bottom of the
A little
pan.
bit. I'm going to put a little more oil in it.
Yeah, I think we all need to put a little more oil.
I think I might use my cast iron skillet when I do this again.
That'll work very well.
I think it'll help with the sticking.
Is that pan quite thin based?
No, it's thick, but it's still
thick
still
enough.
sticking.
Okay,
It's okay. I mean, it's not burning, it's just sticking a little bit.
all right.
Finally using that. I haven't used it enough. I'm finally using the all clad that we got when we did the all clad event. That they gave us. Did you
I
get one of
love
those,
that.
Shannon? Did you get one of the
yeah,
all clad?
yeah, I did, and I love that pan.
I just don't make things that are that form factor or not.
For me, it's a big pan, right? So
It is.
it does take a.
Is there something special about the pan?
It's relatively expensive pan. We did a stream for them, a company called All Clad. They make kind of high end cooking ware here, and so we did a live event with them, and they used this pan, and then they were kind enough to give a bunch of us the pan, each of us a pan, so we were. But then I was like, oh, I was really excited about it, but I just didn't know what to do with it because I just don't make that many things with large pans, and so it was. And I'm excited to use it. It's a very nice pan.
Oh, cool.
It's my third time I've used it in like 5 years.
Oh my gosh.
So
use
maybe
mine
you can
more than
invite
that.
you can invite some people and make aloo fry
Yeah, exactly. No, absolutely.
with yeah.
Well, we've got a
Since he noticed
couple more questions coming in here. Nick Pavlinek says, loving Damayanti's camera angles and perspectives. It is really helping. It really helps when following along. So that's a shout out to Hasmukh and
Nirani.
yeah.
Well, Hasmukh.
And then James Babbitt said, will there be a video of this cook-along available? And the answer is yes, it's on YouTube right now, and you'll be able to come back and watch it again. So absolutely.
Yeah, we were actually talking
a step-by-step on officehours.global/cooking.
We were actually talking earlier when we were testing the lighting that it's come a long way since we first started doing the cook-along.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Your setup, my setup is fallen back a little bit. I think it's because it runs a little earlier in the day, right after one of my other shows, and because this is a general use area, I can't really set up the night before.
Right.
And so I think that I'm not as set up as I was, I think, the very first time we did it, but I'm working on it. I keep on stacking stuff up. I've decided I have to have a box that is just the cook-along box that has stuff that I'm only using for that. So that's what I'm working on right now, is kind of building up a very specific kit just for this show, so that I don't have to try to find everything.
I think Hasmukh's doing that as well. He's getting more and more organized.
Yeah.
It is getting faster to set it up now that I have my places for everything. But Alex, your mic is working well.
Is it working well?
Yeah, it is.
It's a good little mic. For those listening, it's a Rode Go, and my headset mic, for some reason, I couldn't get it to work, and I don't know whether it's the Go or the headset, but anyway, so but I just it's just clipped on. I just clipped it on, and it's usually working. It's much better than the last couple of times I was just on my available mic on my computer, and that was not good.
I'm using the Rode Go 2, but I'm the Rode Go 2 as well, but I have a headset mic, so I'm not using it as a mic.
Right.
My potatoes are starting to get soft.
Lovely, lovely. So while we're waiting, I think I'll just let people know. So next week, we're going to be doing garam masala. So it's more heating spice. It's got more spice ingredients in it, but we'll also a similar procedure where we're going to warm it through and then grind it. And then I'm going to actually be doing sort of spicy scrambled eggs with it.
Oh, good. Yum.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So
I know we're going to talk about it next week, but while we have a few minutes, how many variations of garam masala are there? I feel like I feel like no two is ever quite the same. And if I'm not consistent, then when I'm making a dish that calls for it, if I use it for the first time, then I've got to kind of adjust how much to put, does that make sense? It seems very varied.
Shannon, each family has their own garam masala and in fact, Dana Jeera recipe.
Oh, wow.
So I think when you're buying it, it's probably different makes. And so you're getting a different blend every time.
Okay.
So that is why you have to adjust how much you're adding to your food.
Okay, so I wasn't going crazy.
No, it's just, all these spice mixes are handed down from generation to generation in the family. So, and the other thing is that depending on which part of India you come from, we come from Gujarat, which is northwest. And then within that state of Gujarat, you get North Gujarat and you get South Gujarat, where the spices differ, the cooking methods differ. So it's quite, so it's nothing wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong in the different types of garam masala. It's what your palate gets used to. it's like me. I like this Danajira mix, but I was looking up other mixes and they definitely add more spices than just the cumin and coriander. But I like this. You'll experience what I'm saying. I just like the pureness of the coriander and the cumin taste. The garam masala is totally different. It's just got a different heat. It sort of punches a little bit.
Then you can also, I like the idea of a basic, because then you can add, like we added chili, we added, the turmeric to our potatoes. I mean, you can always add, but you can't take it away.
That's right. That's right. I'm just going to check mine.
My potatoes are starting to get soft.
Yeah, mine are also almost ready. Mine are actually ready. Alex, how far is yours?
Mine's still working.
Okay. Few more
Mine
minutes.
are very close.
Okay. I think we're all on the same page. I just
Yeah, I
want
think
to plate
Make them
up
all
to
about
show
the
you
same
how.
size. Sorry about that. Go
I
ahead.
want to. No. I said I'm just gonna plate up things to show you how I would serve this. But this would be for sort of a dinner that I would serve. You want to do it for breakfast? I think this dish is so versatile. You could use it for lunch or breakfast or dinner, depending on what time of day you're serving your potatoes. It makes a very nice wrap, as I was saying to you, Alex, with your flatbread. And a little bit of grated cheese in there would do wonders.
Absolutely. It's really good.
So I've got a little bit of beans. I've got a flatbread. I've got some mango pickle. And then I just want to garnish with, do you have fresh coriander?
Yes.
I do.
We can garnish the potatoes with it.
And would you chop those or?
Yes, I would chop those. I must remember to say cilantro. I keep forgetting.
Yeah, the first time we did that, I had to call Shannon. I was like, I don't understand. I can't find coriander. He's like, it's cilantro. I was like, okay.
Well, now you've got both versions. You've got the fresh and you've got the dry.
Yeah, I think it's somewhat interchangeable to say, coriander, but usually when we mean coriander, we mean the dried and then the fresh
Yes,
is cilantro.
I got that.
But it's still, I mean, a lot of people still call this coriander.
Yeah.
I love it.
Is cilantro an American term or is it a Mexican term?
I don't know. Or Italian term, maybe.
Because Mexican cooking uses a lot of coriander.
A lot. Yeah.
And when you say garnish it, do you throw it in the pan or do you wait until it comes out?
When it's, I'm going to wait for the potatoes to be, well, I've switched off my pan.
Mhm.
I would, if I was serving it, I would garnish it when I plate it up.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think mine are soft.
Hey guys, there's a YouTube question. Alice, can you see the YouTube?
I can't see. Go ahead and ask it.
So Brody Hefner asked if you could substitute potatoes with cauliflower.
Yes, you could. It would work quite well. Cauliflower and a handful of peas and some cubed carrot. There is a dish that I make with that, and you would use the same spices. It would work very well.
Brody also
As I
said,
yes.
I'm sorry. Brody also said that today he did not have potatoes in his cabinet and he used carrots.
Okay.
Oh, I wonder if he can mention how that went. Because carrots sounds great.
That does sound good.
But as I was saying, because the Dana Jira is so versatile and it's so subtle, I mean, like he said, cauli, peas, and carrot would be really, really lovely.
He said the carrots were delicious.
Oh, cool. I'm very pleased. So
So-
there we have another dish.
Do you, I know this is kind of a silly question, but do you eat the curry leaves or do you push them to the side?
You know, I tend to push it to the side because it's habit, but they're very high in iron. So they're very good to eat.
Okay.
They're very
It
good.
seems like mine, got a little crispy and,
That's-
I mean, they've definitely cooked. So I'm going to try it.
They're yum. They're yum. They taste quite nice.
And mine are ready as well. They're a beautiful color.
I'm just taking away some of the oil from the pickle.
Well, your plate looks really good, Damiante.
So there we go.
That looks delicious. Alex, are your potatoes done?
They're done. It's interesting. I thought that when I cut them, I thought that the sweet potatoes would take longer, but they're a little softer than the russet.
I usually find sweet potato does cook quicker, Alex, quicker
Yeah.
than potato.
So yes, I have completed it. I put a little cheese in there with
Oh, yum.
with a little bit of the coriander, the fresh coriander.
What kind of
otherwise known as
cheese did you
cilantro.
use?
Sorry,
What kind of cheese did you use?
I'm using cheddar because that's what I have.
Okay. Okay, we're
That's interesting.
tasting. Alex, you're jumping ahead. You're tasting.
Uh-oh. Mm.
He can't wait.
We didn't have our big moment.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready,
I'm
steady,
tasting.
go.
These look hot.
Mm. Really good.
Mm. Yum.
Mm.
Mm.
Really good.
I will say
I'm going
that
to add a little bit more.
the russet potatoes are good. The sweet potatoes are excellent.
Really?
Mm. It's
Yeah, with this-
amazing how that bit of sweetness in the potato goes with spice.
Mhm.
It's lovely.
Yeah, I think I really like the sweet potatoes. I mean, I like the russet as well. I just think that I think I might get the sweet potatoes could be very habit forming for me.
And you could even use butternut squash this
Oh
way.
yeah,
You could cook
yeah,
it
that'd
this
be
way
great.
because you have a similar flavor to your sweet potato. That's sweet and savory, and it'll
Mm-hmm.
go very well with a squeeze of lemon.
Oh, a
Mr.
squeeze of
Ken
lemon
Jordan,
on the regular potatoes or just the sweet potato?
I'm talking about the butternut or the squash.
Oh, the butternut squash. Okay. Oh yeah,
That'd
this
be
would be good with
excellent.
butternut.
Yeah.
Mr. Ken Jordan said that, Brody, you can use turnips as a perfect substitute for potatoes.
That's a good
Turnips.
plan. I somehow don't ever cook turnips. I'm not sure if it's just I haven't tried cooking them, but I'm sure they
We
would work.
need Ken to join us more often
I
because
know.
not only does he have good cameras, but he always has a very distinct replacement process for what we're cooking, and it's always interesting. And
Yes, it
I
is.
haven't thought of turnips for that, and I'm absolutely going to try it. That'd be very good.
Yeah.
I haven't had turnip in
Yeah.
a long time.
Well, and I think Ken has used turnips as a replacement before in our
Mhm.
other cook-alongs.
I
So it's
remember, I
inspiring
remember.
me. Yeah, turnips are just one of those things I don't eat either, and I don't
Sorry,
know why not.
Yeah, I was mistaking it for what did he use? Parsnips last time.
Oh, okay.
But I associate turnips with soup. That's how I use my turnips. But I mean, there's nothing wrong in doing something like this.
Yeah, that sounds good.
So I think that's it for us today.
That was
Thanks for
amazing.
joining me.
Damayanti,
And
thank
yeah,
you so much. Yet again,
Pleasure.
I get to learn something completely different than what I'm used to eating. And I just think it's so important now that a lot of us are eating more at home that we break out it. You know, we were really talking about this the other day, is that you get into a pattern. You make the things that you know. And it's really easy to just get into that pattern and not get out of that and into something new. And so it's really appreciate you taking us to a new place each week. Very much.
absolute pleasure.
Well,
And yeah,
it's-
and your garden is going to be growing soon. with
I
all
know.
the herbs.
I'm already thinking about where I'm going to put it and what I'm going to build into it. Absolutely.
when it's more of just a recipe, it's a process, and
Yeah.
it's things that you can use in lots of different ways, right? So it's not just, it's a recipe for these potatoes. It's a spice mixture that you can use for lots of different things, and you don't have to follow, a particular recipe once you know the process.
Right.
So
Exactly.
that's what I appreciate
Yeah.
about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and Hasmukh says you mentioned the chai on MacBreak.
I did.
So,
I did
yeah.
talk about it on
Thanks,
MacBreak.
thanks for that.
I was telling Leo he has to learn how to make your chai as opposed
You
to.
better go teach him.
Yeah, exactly. I'm gonna teach him how to do it.
Well,
Yeah.
and Damayanti, I have been drinking the chai in the evenings, and either I'm just always tired and I'm sleeping well, or you're right, it doesn't affect my sleep.
No.
Like I drink coffee, but I only drink it in the morning. But I really like in the evenings having the warm cup of chai.
And like I said, you could do it without the black tea leaves in it. You could just do it with milk, water, and the spice mix. But I think the fact that the cardamom helps with the caffeine, that is why, because I also am sensitive to drinking coffee in the evening, but I'm able to have a cup of chai in the evening and sleep quite easily
Yeah.
without an issue.
Absolutely.
So yeah, I must thank Hasmukh once again and Nirali for making this possible.
It gets better and
And, yeah.
better. The whole team there just keeps on tightening that whole process. It's fantastic.
Yeah. Have a lovely weekend.
All right,
Take
you
All
too.
care.
right. Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye, Hos.